Cleveland.
In beautiful downtown Cleveland. Welcome, everyone. It's Friday. Hooray!
Yay.
We made it through another one, eh?
Yes.
Almost.
Just
A little bit more time, and then we can call it a day.
Yep.
Well, I have Saturday. I'm open Saturday, so my weekend doesn't start till
And I work
the end
too,
of Saturday.
so,
So
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, we got a lot of exciting things going on today on the show. We got Susan Haider, of course, in here, and we're going to be talking about Quilts of Valor today. And then I believe I've been told that Wendy Benton will also be here. She's going to be bringing in a guest from the Museum Center to talk about the History Happy Hour that's coming up here pretty soon. But before we get to all that fun stuff, Susan, would you like to introduce our guest today?
I sure would. This is Karen Downer, and she is the state coordinator for Quilts of Valor in Tennessee.
That's
Nice.
right.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to come and speak about Quilts of Valor. It's certainly near and dear to my heart. I like for us to always remember that there are people serving who don't necessarily have to. I'll give you a little history about Quilts of Valor. It was started in 2003 by the mother of a soldier deployed to Iraq. And so we're coming on to our 15th year. Our mission is to cover service members and veterans with healing and comforting Quilts of Valor, anyone who has been touched by war. And that doesn't mean you have to be in battle. It just means that you have served or are
Right.
serving. So to date, we have made 154,000 of these quilts.
Wow.
And we have about 2 million to go, so that's why I talk fast,
About 2
because
million,
I've got to
yeah.
go and sew, right?
Right.
We've
Talk
got
fast,
millions-
talk fast and
We have
go.
millions to go. Let's see. Like I said, we've made 154,000, and we're coming on to our 15th year. Currently, we have about 7,000 members across the whole United States and Canada. That's not how many people sew for us, though. We actually don't even know how many thousands of people contribute and sew for us. We know that we have 7,000 members who have contributed a whopping $5 to belong and sew for us. So, do you have any questions? for
Josh,
me?
we'll start with you.
Well, my first question was, how many have you guys taken care of? But you've already answered that. Is it something where they can put a quilt together for someone they know, or is it just
Absolutely.
like an anonymous
It's
gift?
both.
Okay.
If you know a veteran, or 10 veterans, or however many,
Uh-huh.
or service members, you can go to our website,
Mm-hmm.
QOVF, quiltsofvalorfoundation.org, and nominate or request a quilt for that person. And it's really easy. You put in very little information. You put your name so that we can talk
Okay.
with you.
Yeah. Let's
Right,
take
there
a.
it is.
Jason's gonna pull that up there for you.
Thank you. You can go on that website and find the request tab. It's on there somewhere. I'm not seeing it right now because I'm on TV live. I'm not seeing it, but it is there. It's probably on there.
So there's a request
Take an
tab
action.
where you can make
Request
a
a
request.
quilt right
there.
there.
It is. Take action.
Request a quilt.
And then there's just a real simple form. It's maybe got 10 lines, and you're going to put your name so we can get in touch with you as the nominator. Sometimes it's a surprise, and you arrange for the award. And I have done awards in churches, in VA hospitals, in bars, in restaurants, just walk in with a quilt and surprise them.
Yeah.
My favorite is Vietnam vets because they are so emotional about finally being welcomed home. And the fact that many hands have worked to put one of these together. These take about 30 hours each to put together.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
Now, when you say award,
The one we did for my son was a total surprise for him. The girls that come in Haider Hangout, the hangouters as we call them, there was, I think ended up being 20 of us, 12 or 20 of us. Each made a block, and then we assembled the quilt and then had it quilted. And I told my son he's a contractor, so I told him, come in and we've got something for you to look at in the shop. And he almost canceled out, but we had all these people here. We had the coordinator from the Athens group and a couple other people, and then all the girls that made the quilt. And his girlfriend said, no, Mom's got to have you look at this thing. And he come in, and I said, oh, hold on a minute, Aaron. We've got a class going, and I'll be able to get out pretty soon and show you the thing in the back. So she comes up and started talking about Quilts of Valor and talking to the girls, and then held up the quilt that we made. And then I turned around and I said, and Aaron, you need to come up here. And he started boo-hooing, I'm boo-hooing. I couldn't say another word because I'm boo-hooing. And the Athens coordinator, she came and wrap around the veteran and hug him with the quilt and tell him we love him. And that's the way that we do it. And he was totally surprised because he had no idea. And we've been working on it for a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's awesome.
and I think the people who were actual $5 paying members was me and like 3 other people, but the rest of them were just hangouters that had said, well, yeah, I'll make a block.
Sure, they volunteer a little bit of time to help put it together.
Right. Sometimes a quilt may have blocks in it from 10 or 12 different states. These quilts that I've brought today don't have individuals' names on them, but oftentimes the blocks are contributed, and you write your name and the state that you're from. Not always, but sometimes we do it that way.
Now, you say a little block. They're submitting blocks. Now, do you have people where they can submit just a block or do
Yes.
the whole quilt
Right.
as well?
People do. Some people do it start to finish the entire thing.
Okay.
Other times, people, especially if they're new at sewing, or it's time consuming. So oftentimes we do block drives and we get blocks. We're starting a national block drive right now, and I'm going to leave this information with Susan. So anyone who wants to participate to the extent of just making a block or 2 or 10 can visit Susan or find it on our website under events. And it gives complete instructions on how to make 2 blocks that would make this quilt.
Okay.
And
Susan's holding that up there.
There,
Yep, that's good.
And so you can just contribute a block if you would like. Now, this is an example of a time where we might ask you to sign your name. We have special pens that don't wash out.
Right.
Not Sharpies. Don't use a Sharpie. We have
Yeah.
other special pens.
yeah,
I
Sharpies,
love Sharpies.
but
Don't.
not on,
But
not
not
on
on
fabric.
They actually will run a little bit. So we have special Pigma pens, and people can sign their names and the date and the state that they're from, and they can even write a message if they'd like. Thank you is often a
Nice.
good message.
So when people submit blocks, do they usually follow a pattern like that, or can they just
They
kinda
can
do-
submit. We'll take any block,
Okay.
any size, and we have some very talented artistic people who can put it in a quilt top and make it look very good.
Yeah, I bet it's kind of an eclectic mix too,
Right,
kind of
Jack-
one of a kind.
Jackie Corey here in Cleveland is probably the world's best at that, at
Yeah.
taking blocks from anywhere of any
Yeah.
size or color and making them all go together into a beautiful top.
That's cool.
So there's a lot of ways to participate. That is also on our website. You don't have to sew. You can just, sometimes we get together in groups. Susan mentioned in her shop. We often meet in shops or in people's homes. People
Okay.
are sewing all over the country, in homes, in basements, and shops. And you can come and just iron or press for us. We love
Or cut
we love that.
blocks
Yeah.
or, yeah.
cut.
And
You know,
Susan, you're starting or have started a group here locally at Haider Hangout. is
We
what you're
have,
telling us.
we now have, I don't know what they call them, group coordinator, president?
Group leader.
She's one of the hangouters that has come in, and she is going to be the head of the group, and her name's Margie Garman, and I don't know if we give name, we'll have
You
to
name
come
the
up with a
group.
name, and I don't know what they'll end up
They
saying.
can be Susan's QOV quilters or Haider's quilters or whatever you
Hangouters, quilters, or something, I don't know
Yeah.
what they'll
want.
end
The
up
groups
with.
have a name, and we've been sort of stealing the Cleveland sewers down in Chattanooga for
Uh-oh.
years. They've come all the way to sew with us, and
Yep.
even into North Georgia, they've sewn with us. And I think, and this is one of my responsibilities, to help set up a group. I believe there's enough to have 2 groups in the Cleveland area.
So you're located in Chattanooga?
I'm personally located in Chattanooga,
Okay.
and I'm actually the Eastern District, Southeastern District,
Oh.
Tennessee state
Okay.
coordinator. No, that's fine. There's 4 of us, and I have.
For Tennessee, well, Tennessee's so long and big, you know,
Right.
Tennessee's wonderful and big, so.
So Cleveland's in my territory, and it's just time for us to stop stealing the Cleveland quilters and let them not have to drive so far and be able to sew here locally. So we're hoping to set up 1 or 2 groups in Cleveland.
Okay, that sounds cool. Well, you want to show us some of these quilts you brought today?
I brought several quilts today. Some of these came, I'm sure there's a Cleveland sewer's hands in here, and some of these came all the way from Florida, from a lady who used to live here in Chattanooga.
So you want to do the Florida one first?
Yeah, let's do hers first. And this is just a clever use of something called rail fence, and you repeat one of the fabrics as opposed to having 3 different fabrics. So you end up with a woven look.
Nice. That's very
simple.
cool.
This one, it probably was done in 30 hours. This would be one of the more simpler ones, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, this is,
It's like a basket weave, right?
Uh-huh.
well, this is a fabric, see? and then she cut blocks out of it.
So you'd have a piece here, a piece
And
here, a
this,
piece here.
this is a block right here. So there's these piece here, piece here, piece here, and then you've got strips in between them. And
Okay.
this is relatively simple. You guys could do this because you can sew straight.
That's right.
And we have a
After that class we had, y'all sew straight, you can come in and just do blocks.
We have a lot of men sewing with us.
Yes, we do.
We have a lot of veterans sewing with us. This one is a real special one. This came from,
You like the back of this one?
yeah.
Sometimes backs are just as good as the front.
This one is from a group in Loudon, and I want to read you. We label each of our quilts, and then your name goes on it. The person who receives the quilt, their name comes on it, is put on it in an ink that won't wash out. This is from the Village Quilters in Loudon. And their label says, the quilt you're holding is a special quilt of valor. It was made to honor you for your service to our country. As we sewed, our gratitude flowed from our hearts through our hands to this quilt. We hope it will serve as a reminder that we're grateful for your service, sacrifice, and valor. So this one came
Wow.
from the Village Quilters in Loudon. And Susan, I do not know what that pattern is. Do you? A lot of these are original.
This may just be something somebody made up,
Right.
just so they could use the big blocks. See, if people like to use show the big squares here.
Sometimes we don't like cutting our fabric up,
Yep.
so we'll use bigger blocks.
And there's the back.
That's just a thing.
That's
we
little
have.
flags.
Let's see.
And this is an example of one where people have written messages into the quilt.
Yeah, see, there's,
So,
That up, I see the message there.
okay.
but there's a bunch of messages.
Bunch
Oh,
of
yeah,
them.
I know. Right there. So they can customize it and put their own little message.
Right, and those messages probably say thank you, and then they have their name.
Thank you for your service. Thank you for protecting my freedom. God bless you. And then their names.
So this would have been one where we collected blocks.
That's really nice with the flags, and it kind of it blends very well. Mm-hmm. It's very, very nice.
I've sold three bolts of this fabric, and I'm
probably-
hoping they're not going to quit making it.
Probably
Yeah.
came from your shop, the fabric.
I know this back fabric came from my shop.
Oftentimes,
Stars.
the person who makes the top is not the same person who quilts it. This is actually a design from a lady in Morristown, Tennessee, whose name just went right out of my head. I apologize.
Well, the paper fell out.
I don't think the pattern design will be on there. Nope. Oh, but Delia Price. She's from Cleveland, right?
Yeah.
Teaches here at the university. She
It's
was.
a Cleveland quilt.
Yes, this is a Cleveland quilt. Delia Price, Linda Declavon,
Mm-hmm.
and we have it upside down.
Yes, we do.
This happens a lot. It especially happens when we're draping a soldier, and we have to either ask him to stand on his head or turn the quilt.
Nice. That's really
Yes, and
nice.
this is a pattern designed by a lady in Tennessee, and she designed it for us.
For a particular veteran, or
No, she just designed it for Quilts of Valor. We have patterns on our website too. You can get unlimited free patterns there.
And you said that's about 30 hours, 30 to 40 hours
30
per
hours
quilt?
minimum.
Okay.
A lot of times if people decide to hand piece or hand quilt, you're into the hundreds of hours when they do that. And occasionally that happens. We have people who will make as many as 30 a year, Fran. Or we
I
have,
think Jackie's up
and then
there.
Jackie Corey here in Cleveland.
She made 3 last week.
She made 3 last week. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So she's just knocking them out.
Well,
She's
she's like a quiltaholic,
She
and
would-
that's all she does. And I don't even
Do you
know
have
if
a
she
group
sleeps.
for that too at your shop? Quiltaholics
Quiltaholics.
Anonymous?
Well, we have the Quilt to Wilt on first Saturday of
That
each
would-
month, and some people do work on the Quilts of Valor. If you don't have a project and you want to come to the Quilt to Wilt, we've got our blocks that we're working on. We've got
Okay.
6 quilts in progress. And we can just say here, iron these, or cut these apart, or cut these strips, or
And we are looking to start at least two groups here in Cleveland. And if you would like to participate, you can see Susan, or you can get in touch with me at karen.downer@qov.org. That's my email, my QOV email. I guess to summarize, we have about 2 million to go. We need help. It's a good thing to do. It's a lot of fun. I've met some of the best people I've known in my life working through Quilts
Sure.
of Valor. So go online, request a quilt for a veteran, and join us. You can participate as little or as much as you want. We'll let you make a whole quilt, and we'll teach you how. Or we'll just ask you for a block.
Susan's already got us about 3/4 of the way there on
Right.
learning how to do a quilt. So
Yeah.
we just need a little practice now.
Yep.
We recently, last year, drafted a former Army nurse, 20 years in the Army. She had served overseas, and she moved to Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
She's from up north, and she moved to Cleveland, and she serves with us now. Linda McKinnon.
This sounds like a really fun and
Linda,
meaningful.
Linda McKenna was one of those that I told you about that made the, when we're talking about T-shirt quilts, she made the bags. The shopping bags from Europe and made it into the T-shirt
Yes.
quilt, or
Yep.
into the quilt. And she started out learning how to quilt, and now she's doing Quilts of Valor all the time.
So join us.
Cool.
And I'll pull this information up here again just so everyone can check it out.
We're
Your
open to
website
everyone.
is qovf.org, and you can go to take action and actually request a quilt. And also, you guys have a Facebook page. I'll pull that up as well. So you're at Quilts of Valor Foundation on Facebook. So if you go into Facebook and just go into your little search bar, type in Quilts of Valor Foundation, you'll be able to pull up some more additional information on there about how you can get involved in this. And also, if you want to make one and you've requested a quilt or you've pulled a pattern off of your website, you can go to HaiderHangout.com and get some information about Susan's store, Haider Hangout, right here on the First Street Square in Cleveland, and get all your supplies and all your materials that you need to put your quilt together.
And Quilts of Valor gets a 10% discount.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
So you can get a 10% discount. Very cool.
Perfect.
Very, very nice. Anything else that you, are you currently working on any quilts right now that are in process that you want to give kind of a preview about for? I know maybe it's not, we don't want to say who it's for because we don't want to spoil the surprise, but
Well, we don't have anybody in particular that we know for.
I do.
Oh, you do?
I do. I'm working on one. My brother retired, and his activity during retirement is riding his Harley.
right on.
Uh-huh. And so he has gentlemen that he rides Harleys with, and they are Vietnam vets because they're that age. And so I'm just about to get one back from the Long Armor.
Okay.
I'm what's called a topper. I just make the tops. Someone else quilts it. And that's going to go to one of his Harley buddies.
Oh,
Nice.
cool.
So I won't say his name, yeah. And if you guys identify a vet that you would like us to award, we'll bring it here. We will do it right here
Cool.
for you.
You could do it
Yeah.
live on the Good Morning Show.
But that should be, maybe a Veterans Day thing or something, or just whenever you
Yeah.
want. And it should be someone you know of whose service you really appreciate.
Awesome.
Happy to do that.
Very cool.
I see the wheels turning.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Smoke coming up from their heads again.
Yep.
And you can specify some things. I recently had a gentleman who he was injured, but he particularly likes Batman, and I said I cannot put that in the front. We have a few little rules, but I'll put it on the back for you. So his backing will have some Batman fabric.
Very cool. Well, Josh, anything else?
No, I think that's cool. I think if anybody here locally is watching this and wants to get involved, whether you're you know of a vet, then if you can't remember the website, just go downtown to Haider Hangout. Susan has all the information, and she can hook you up with all the details. And then if you're talented and want to volunteer, again, downtown, you can pitch
You don't
in.
have to be talented. If you can lift an iron, you can help.
Yeah. Well, talent is very loose description there. They could be talented at just cutting fabric.
Or listening.
But yeah, if you want to pitch in or have no talent at all, but just a desire to be involved, there's space for you there. And there's several opportunities where you can work on these quilts at Susan's shop if you don't have room at your house.
That's right.
So, and then we saw that probably half the fabric there came from Susan's shop as well.
Right.
So,
Got everything you
Way to go,
need.
Susan.
Cool. Well, we will. We're at the bottom of the hour here. We'll take a quick break, and thank you very much for coming in.
Sorry.
yeah. Anything else?
You didn't know you talked that long?
No.
It's amazing. You guys.
Time,
No, we're not.
time
You'll-
flies.
We still
you'll
got
never-
5 minutes
you'll never-
before we're there.
Time-
We're still alert.
Time flies when you're having fun. So,
I'm sure we started late too.
all right. Well, thank you very much for
Thank
coming
you.
in.
Thanks
and
for having me.
absolutely,
Appreciate it. It
we'll
was big fun.
take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Quilts and the art of quilting have been enjoyed for generations. Haider Hangout, Quilt Fabric and More in downtown Cleveland is all things quilts and much more. Haider Hangout stocks a vast selection of beautiful fabrics from upholstery to evening wear and will special order hard-to-find items. Find all the accessories to make any project fun and easy. Haider Hangout offers expert instruction with classes for the beginner and the advanced. Ready to show your style? Get to Haider Hangout, Quilt Fabric and More, 219 First Street Northeast.